Get that rich quality voice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel over here. Not at Broke Boy Gaming, because Broke Boy Gaming is no more. We are now Broke Boy Media. We made this decision just because it's just a little bit easier to cover more topics than just gaming, and we started, doing more movie reviews, and we were named Broke Boy Gaming, so it kind of just made sense. This gives us more of a more wiggle room in general to expand on the content that we want to create. It's been about 2 weeks since we've actually made any videos, mainly because Devin is out of town, actually out of state. So technically he's out of town. But today I'm here. I'm joined by Jared Stromboli. How are you doing today, Jared?
I'm doing swell, Christian. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. But yeah, so I just wanted to cover that there's a lot going on in the gaming industry in general, so that's mainly what we're going to be focusing on, that topic today, with the whole Epic versus Steam debacle and the whole Outer Worlds and Metro Exodus and possible Borderlands 3 coming on to Epic Games, their new platform on PC, excuse me. But so Jared, what games have you been recently playing? You've been good. You're on spring break, right? Yeah.
I mean, I just started this spring break.
Mm.
Yeah, I've not really been playing that much. I mean, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They keep it's technically games as a service. They keep coming out with live updates for the game as well. And they did an episodic release for DLC, which is a whole nother I have a whole nother set of views on episodic releases of DLCs as well. I think you should just release a DLC all at one time instead of in episodes, because it kind of chops it up. But I do understand why it's done. But that's besides the point. Yeah, so I haven't had really that much time to play anything. I plan on going back to Rise of the Tomb Raider over this break, so I can finish that and finally move on to
bigger and better things.
Finally move on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because that's been just sitting in my library for ever since it came out.
Did you buy it, or is that through Game Pass, through your Xbox?
I bought it. I've had it since day one.
Digital or physical?
It's digital.
I got you, my guy. I know the whole digital physical thing is very.
Since we broke boys, I got that. I got the the deluxe edition or whatever with all the DLC for I got it for $40 when it first came out.
Oh, okay.
There was some weird shit that I was able to manipulate. I don't even remember what. I just remember that shit was 40, and I was like, I was laughing my ass off because it was $40 for a whole ass game plus all of its shit. So I was like, yo.
Yeah, man. I mean that happens over on the PC side all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, Steam's having a sale right now, and I've been looking to get the Batman Arkham trilogy, as you know, and I was just going through, and lo and behold, every single Batman game was $5, and the trilogy, which is normally $60 on Steam, I got it for a cold $15.
That's a steal. And the Arkham Origins is separate, my guy. But I had you.
Yeah, right, Devin. So not Devin. Excuse me. Jared was nice enough to give. I'm sorry. He's on the channel so much.
It's good.
Jared was nice enough to give me his Batman Arkham Origins key.
Because there's a thing from Humble Bundle maybe about several months ago. I'd say about 6 or 7 months ago, where they had every Batman game was part of a bundle. So I got that, and I had already owned Arkham Origins, so that was an leftover code, and I was just keeping it handy, so I decided to give it to Christian.
For whatever reason, I don't know why I didn't buy that bundle, because literally Seth bought it, Devin bought it, I'm pretty sure Matt bought it too. Literally everybody bought it, and I was like, okay, for whatever reason I just didn't. I don't know what it was. I don't know, but it is what it is. So let's get into I guess we'll just start off with what's up.
Speaking of Steam.
There we go. Nice transition.
We about to segue.
U-turn.
That's illegal.
Get on the expressway.
Fork in the So speaking of Segue, and Steam, yeah, so there's been some weird stuff happening with the Epic Store and specifically Outer Worlds, and Obsidian Entertainment. Um, and
It's
we'd like to address that in this video because it's kind of indicative of where the gaming industry is at now, just in general, this whole entire event. And like basically, Obsidian Entertainment has put their new IP Outer Worlds
the Outer Worlds
yeah, the Outer Worlds, I'm sorry, is slated to be a timed exclusive for the Epic Store
for an entire year.
for an entire year until it arrives on Steam. Now, initially when I heard this, I heard people complaining. I was like, "Why are you complaining? Like, you're still gonna be able to play it on your PC. Shouldn't matter." But there are problems with that in general because the actual developers of the game weren't aware that it was going to be on the Epic Store. They were coding it as if it was they were coding it for Steam achievements within the game itself.
Scandals.
So that is very problematic, and recently the developers are finding this out that it's on the Epic Store at the same time that everybody else is, right?
Right.
So so we have this kind of gives us an insight into how these like gaming a lot of the gaming companies, or not even a lot, just I would say, uh, judging by past experiences, I would say the massive gaming companies operate like this because they've had prior screw ups in the past. So we have like I think Bethesda works like this because Fallout 76 is doing so badly. I think
Anthem
um
with EA.
EA works like this because Anthem's doing badly, and now uh, Outer Worlds. And when I'm saying this, I mean specifically that the people on the top chain of the company are not communicating to the devs until the very, very last minute. And they're making deals behind the devs' back or agreements behind the devs' back. And then when the devs find out, it's too late for them to fix anything or even to try to like bargain for something else. It's
Right.
just too far gone. It's too far gone. So what happened with Obsidian Entertainment was it's on the Epic Store, and Dev Team found out, and I was just like, "Yo, how is that the case?" So we have Chris Aveline on Twitter being like, okay, so just
So
background,
yeah,
background.
who is Chris Avaline, just
Yeah,
for everyone listening out there?
Chris Aveline used to be he used to work with Obsidian Entertainment, and then he got like released or fired or some shit, I don't know. And now he's a freelance designer for video games, but he was part of their dev team in the past, right?
Hmm.
And so he made a tweet that said, "It's not Epic's fault. Which should you blame? The one who offers cash or the one who accepts it?" Right. So this is kind of weird because there's a big rumor going around that the CEOs are just making all of the decisions by themselves, right? So the CEOs accepted cash, and so Epic offered cash, CEOs accepted it, right? But the devs had no say in it. So then this other person responded to Chris Aveline, saying, "Chris, don't you believe this was a decision made by Take Two and Private Division?" So Take Two and Private Division are the people who own Obsidian Entertainment, right?
Right.
And then he said, "Not
Well,
Obsidian."
at the
Well,
time, because
yeah,
Microsoft bought them now,
at the
or
time of
has.
this deal, which was
Right.
very like several months ago before Microsoft purchased that
Right.
whole multitude of studios. Um, he says, "Chris, don't you believe this was a decision made by Take Two and Private Division, not Obsidian, who's owned by Microsoft? Just not making a whole lot of sense, in my opinion." And so then Chris Avalon responded, "Nope. Based on my experience with the Obsidian CEO, the devs are always the last to know, and the last to know what the CEO decided, sometimes far in advance, even while the devs in the trenches were working hard on the game they believe in." So that's extremely problematic because this means that you have game publishers and people basically at the top don't communicate at all with their dev team. And that's why when these games come out, they're just completely like bad because they could be coming out before the dev team even know it's coming out. You
Hmm.
know, that could be implied, but that's probably not true. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like
yeah, it's
but
all
like
speculation.
but like this definitely means that there is something intrinsically wrong with the way that certain companies are set up with their developers. So I think that EA probably does this in terms of you have a person at the top making making decisions for like BioWare without communicating it to the dev team. And so then, oh, when the game comes out, all this shit is cut, or it's just a total mess, right?
Yeah, it's really weird because a lot of people don't understand. It's like the devs only have so much power when it comes to certain
Yeah.
things. Like like if they want
So
like what resolution and frame rate they want to run their game at. But like I mean they're pretty much like the uh the
they're like the
factory
bottom.
workers
They're like
essentially.
factory workers. So like when people are getting mad at the devs, it's like you got to get mad at the publisher, man. You can't be getting mad at these devs. These devs are just working their asses off,
Yeah,
doing whatever they're told, and they have limited say in what they're doing. Like also with like Apex Legends, because Apex Legends is published by EA, so it's like we that game almost wasn't a thing. The only reason it was able to be successful is because they told EA, "Yo, we're not ready to release this right now. Give us more time." So that's like that's extremely bad that a company is just forcing you to release a game,
yeah,
right?
they
So like,
just want to keep their investors happy, and they it's essentially them wanting to have these properties out in people's hands as much as possible, because now it's like everybody's trying to like make
yeah,
like the next new Fortnite, and oh, like
yeah,
what's going to go up against it. Apex is doing very well. I've heard good things. I haven't really tried it out myself. I probably won't, just because I mean when it comes to like competitive shooters like that,
yeah.
I'm just not very good at them.
I'm not very good at them either. But then it also is very interesting because you mentioned, oh yeah, they're trying to please the shareholders, which I know is an argument that people employ on Twitter a lot, or just all everywhere. It's like, oh no, they're gonna release it to please their employers, or not the employers, their investors, right, and
Right.
shareholders, right. So the problem with that is that you are going to make more money if the game is good versus released early, right? So to please the shareholders, you need to release a full game, not an early game.
Yeah, and that kind of
Okay.
falls
So
into
that's
like the whole, even with Anthem. Like I mean, I've tweeted about this on our Twitter page, where I've tweeted directly at, well, I responded to a tweet um about Anthem to EA, and I tweeted, I was like, I'm done. Like I'm tired of like the false promises. I'm tired of the games as a service, or live service games, I should say.
yeah.
And that I'm tired of these false promises, and like the whole like, oh, it'll be better in 6 months, these half-baked
It,
games. Like
it
it's
should be better.
ridiculous, and that's why I normally stick to single player
It
games
should be
myself. But even
right.
then sometimes it kind of drips into that, not as much. But I mean, as I've gotten older, like I've been mainly just playing single player games. But
Right.
that's just, I'm tired of
Now,
these. Like I would love to have a good multiplayer to play with everyone, but it's just it doesn't seem like it's happening. I'm hoping it happens soon with Borderlands though.
right. It's like these companies are making toast, and they're they're sticking it in there for 30 seconds, letting it heat up, and then they don't actually let it toast, right? And then they start to eat it, and then they put it back
It's like
into
a
the
half
toaster.
baked pizza, my guy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's like a half baked
it's
DiGiorno pizza.
horrible.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like directions say to put it in for like what 45 minutes to an hour. You put it in for like 45 minutes, because
Yeah,
that's the minimum requirement. Take it out, and like half the dough is like cooked and the other half isn't.
right. Or it's like
And it's like, oh, here you go. Or it's like,
it's
oh,
like
stick it back
ordering a
in the
burger,
oven for another 45 minutes.
dude.
Wait even longer. It'll be better.
It's like ordering a burger, right? And you ordered that shit like well done, right?
Right.
And you order grilled onions, right?
Mm.
So it comes out, right? It's medium rare, and the onions aren't grilled, right? So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to return it. You're supposed to return it and tell them that you're not going to eat this.
Pizza time.
You're late. I'm not paying for those.
And then they go and remake it and complete it and then give it to you, right?
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like,
what's happened is they come out with that fucked up burger, right? That's halfway done, and you start to eat it. Then halfway through, you're like, "Oh, I want to return this," but it's too late, dude. You've already been eating it,
Exactly.
right?
It's yeah.
So they're already getting their money, and by the time they do bring you another burger, the restaurant's shut down. So like you can't.
Yes.
That's what this is. This is so horrible.
No,
Like
it's true, man. Even with like No Man's Sky is a perfect example. Like it's like it shouldn't excuse any of these terrible launches. It's like, oh, like yeah, like now the game is better, but like why did it take so long for the game to get to the point of like, it actually being like enjoyed by fans? Because when that game came out, nothing in there was what they promised. And they're like, oh, things
right.
changed during development. I'm like, that's totally fine, but you need to communicate that with your consumers. Like
Right.
nobody does that
It
at
it
all.
it also brings up like a moral dilemma. So like if a game comes out and it's really bad and then 6 months later it's good, do you buy it 6 months later? I would say no because you're supporting them being lazy, right? So like No Man's Sky, I'm still not going to purchase it no matter how good it may
Or
be right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
I'm
just
not going to
don't
purchase
purchase
it
it at
because
all.
at the end of the day, I'm supporting people that slacked off at the very beginning of a game's release. That honestly shouldn't be in business anymore. They honestly should not be. However, it also depends. It's like the dev team should stay in business.
Should.
That company though,
Developers
no.
should always, yeah, especially, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's insane, man. Even with like, okay, like just kind of circling back. I mean, that we kind of took a little bit of a detour, but it's whatever. Going back to the Obsidian and Epic Game Store with a lot of people that are very disgruntled at the whole Epic situation with Outer Worlds being a year-long exclusive. This isn't the first game though, because the Division's on there as well, and this also happened with Metro Exodus, because Metro Exodus was originally supposed was already like pre-ordered by like thousands of people on Steam, and then like out of nowhere it's like they cancel those pre-orders, like, oh, you gotta go and download a new client, whatever, and repurchase it on the Epic Store. And they're like, why? They're like, oh, well, it's gonna be on there for a year, but like it's the only platform that client PC
Yeah,
wise.
and so the problem is that they shouldn't offer the option to pre-order it on another platform if it's going to be a timed exclusive. They shouldn't offer that pre-order a whole ass year in advance on like Steam per se if it's
Yeah,
going to be on
it's some
Epic.
crazy stuff. Like
Because then what happens is as soon as it's announced, boom, people are pre-ordering it, and then 6 months later they change their
and
minds
that's
and then they
why
pull it. And that's a
pre-ordering is
problem
very,
because
yeah.
you're expected that you're going to play this game when it comes out. But that's
Yeah,
not what happened.
pre-ordering anything on PC is very right. Like as of like now, from like what a few weeks ago, we'd be saying, it's no problem. But as of
Yeah,
now, it's like we don't know what games are gonna come over to the Epic Store. I mean, I know that with the Outer Worlds, they did put out a tweet saying that it's going to be on the Epic Store and launch aside on the Windows stores as well,
hmm.
like on quote unquote launch day. But
They
a lot of people
probably
are
they
also,
probably did that afterwards because after the Epic deal was made, well, it's speculation that
well,
the
yeah,
Epic
I
deal
mean,
was
well,
made.
they put it all in like one tweet,
Was
like when
Yeah,
they
but
announced
that
everything.
I'm saying the reason for that is that the speculation is that the Epic deal was made prior to Microsoft
Oh
purchasing
yeah,
Obsidian
yeah, absolutely,
Entertainment.
because this game is going to
So,
be
but
multi-plat
because
across
Microsoft
the.
purchased Obsidian Entertainment, they're like, "Oh, hey, what the hell? Why are you doing this on the Epic Store?" So then Obsidian's just like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry,
But
man."
but
And they
with
put it on the
the
Microsoft
Epic
Store.
Store, they are offering developers like a more like a better like profit like split wise versus Steam, and this has been a
Ex-
problem in Steam for a very long time. And like I would say it's like half of Epic's fault, because they're essentially buying out to, I mean, like they're starting like their own like client platform, like they want to like compete against Steam, but like Steam
Yeah,
hasn't budged with their profit split. And it's kind of like, well, I don't know, like why
and
hasn't
yeah,
it's like why hasn't Steam like adapted to the situation? It's like if you want this to keep happening, like from a business standpoint, people don't understand that like business wise, it makes a lot of sense. Of course, I would put my game on, a different client for like
Yeah.
almost
Oh
an
yeah.
entire year to get
Definite.
as much profit
Definitely.
as I can for at least the first
Definitely.
year, and then put it on another platform. Like that's just
Yeah.
business, and people need to understand that, like, yeah, like companies, they provide these great games and everything, but like they don't really care about what you think when it comes to this, because at the end of the day, a business's
Yeah.
main goal
However,
is to
however,
make money.
however, however, we can critique the fact that it was once offered on Steam and is no
Right.
longer
Right.
without notice. Basically,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
what
like
the
they told
problem is.
us, but it was like out of the blue. But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
Outer
not
Worlds
like
is supposed to come out this year. We don't
yeah,
know the exact date.
if it was listed on Steam, it should have like indicated on that list like hey, this may not be available the entire time,
Well, even
right?
even when
Or
the,
something
when
like
the
that.
game first was announced, like I mean, I'll post like a little picture of it. But it even says like towards like the end, how it normally says at the very bottom, like what platforms it's going to be on. It has like,
Yeah.
Xbox, PS4. Those are coming out the same day as the Epic and Windows Store version, by the way. And it says at the bottom, it just says Steam. So it's
Yeah.
like it was advertised like, yes, like technically it is true that it is still coming out for Steam, but like a year is a long time
A
to wait for
year
a game that's
is
already
an
it's
extreme. It's already basically on the PC. It's extremely long. There's not
yeah.
really
And like I
that's
understand like where people are
mm.
coming from with the PC thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just wanting to get
No,
this
you're
out of here.
good.
Like, it's just like yeah, like in retrospect, it's really not that big of a deal. But Epic has been, with the whole data mining thing and taking user data from Steam and bringing it onto their client, that is a little shady, and that off puts people, because it's like, you didn't give them like, the authority to snoop around. But Epic Games did comment on that, saying that like, oh, we like, apparently Steam didn't know they were doing it, and apparently Epic's was saying like, oh, we were not going to do this without people's consent, but apparently they clearly were. I'm not completely entirely sure if that was like the main case, but anyway, it's just like, even getting back to my original point with like, yeah, like it's going to be on PC, like whatever, it just won't be on Steam for at least a year, but like that's everyone's main, like, client that they go to. And like after a while, it's like how many other companies are going to make their own clients, because it's like, yeah, like it's all available on Steam. Like it kind of, I mean, on your PC, like your gaming PC, but it does get annoying after a while where it's like, okay, well, I have like 4 or 5 different clients with like X amount of games on here and maybe a few sprinkled over here on like, Origin or whatever. And it's just like after a while, like that does get really annoying. It gets really annoying because you have to, remember all these passwords, and it's like, it's
Yeah,
it's too much. Even though I
it is
wonder
very
if you can export the game from
yes,
Epic.
yes you can onto Steam
But you
because
see, I
people do
tried
that.
doing that earlier with Gears of War on
It's
the
just
Windows
it's just
Store, and it
it's
didn't work through
there's like
Steam.
there's weird things. So like I can put I mean there's literally an option in Steam. It says put a non-Steam game in your library.
Right,
All it does is make it like all right there so you can launch it. So all of you it just makes Steam a shortcut instead of actually
right.
launching from Steam. So like
I
it'll show
tried to
up.
make Gears of War 4 shortcut on
Yeah.
Steam earlier today, but it wasn't locating it, which is really weird because I downloaded it.
Yeah.
But maybe there's something else I have to do.
Yeah, it's probably something else that you have to do because like I have it. I can launch like my like straight up games that I purchased on Ubisoft through my Steam because I shortcutted it.
Oh, you know what? I should probably do that myself.
So
I have Assassin's
yeah,
Creed Origins. I still haven't downloaded
that
that
shit is
game.
amazing. You need it,
I got it for
dude.
free when I got my
That is a
my
beautiful game.
CPU like about a year and a half ago
That
around
is a
Christmas.
it's a beautiful game. It's very nice to look at, dude. That
Yeah,
game is
I'll,
amazing.
I'll
Okay,
eventually play
but
it. It's Batman time
yeah,
now,
uh,
but
yeah,
but yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like I mean, I understand where people are coming from with this, and like when it comes to exclusivity on, it- it's it's just so crazy. I
it
mean,
is crazy. But like it's
but gaming's
I
changing.
think
Like
that
Borderlands 3 is probably more than
I think
welcome.
developers like should after a time branch off and become their own publishers. right?
Once they get enough money, because sometimes
Oh
developers
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get.
Once they get enough money, but the problem is that you have developers that are getting enough money and they haven't done this yet, right? So like,
Not yeah.
so like specifically BioWare, right? And I'm gonna like
I
so
don't know if we're gonna see that next Dragon Age, man.
BioWare a long time ago should have just like not have joined with EA and just like just
Look
done
at
their own thing
Destiny.
or whatever, dude.
Destiny
It
got
was
away from
freaking
Activision.
yeah, and
I
now
was
it's
like,
functioning
good.
better. Now they're doing hella better because they're on their own. They can make their own
One, yeah,
shit.
yeah, whatever they wanna.
Nobody's breathing down their neck to like release shit on time. Like
Mhm.
on time quotations, not it's not around time early or whatever. It's like they're
Yeah,
just they're
just don't give me a half baked game. And like, I mean,
because like
price comes into
yeah,
it a
like
lot. People don't understand that.
dude, like we keep saying like just everybody just look at CD Projekt Red. Everybody needs to do that because
Look at Gearbox. Honestly,
they're
they did say Borderlands 3 is like they're like we're not going to announce anything,
yeah,
announce
they basically
until it's ready.
Both of these companies basically saying like it'll come out when it comes out. We're not giving you a straight up release date because that like no, we'll tell you when it's coming out if we're actually done with it, right?
Yeah, like Outer Worlds, it just says 2019. It's like that could
yeah.
literally mean this game could come out on December 31st later this year.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like because when these studios release a general year, you know they're not done, and you know that they're like publishers breathing down their neck to release it.
Yeah, it's too
problematic.
Even with like, I mean, I know with Metroid, even though we still haven't gotten anything about that, they literally had to start back from scratch. They're using like I think a different engine developer and whatnot. I mean, they did really that release that information to their fans instead of just not saying anything. But Nintendo, I mean, Sony's really bad at it. Like, I mean, for the past 3 E3s, like when was Last of Us Part 2 like actually announced? I swear that was like maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm like, why would you even? Why? Like, yeah, I'm really excited the game's coming out, but like, there's like snippets of like little bit of gameplay and like what the game's about. But it's really not enough, and it's like they could have been at E3 this year, like, because it's supposed to be rumored that Last of Us Part 2 and a few other games are supposedly might be coming out this year, or early next year. So it's like you could have been at E3, but they're actually, this is actually really good to talk about. They're doing their own like Nintendo Direct thing. I think it's called the State of Play, and I think the first episode, quote unquote, is this Monday
potentially, but I
think so. They announced it.
There's a big problem with not announcing games in front of a live audience because you cannot get live feedback. You do not know if you are doing a good job or not, which is extremely problematic when it concerns Nintendo, because they are a generation behind. You cannot argue with that. That is a fact. However, they do produce amazing games, but their hardware and their technology, even in the resolution, their graphics are a generation behind because they do not have live feedback when they are announcing things.
Yeah, I mean, I get, all these companies are starting to do like you'll get a lot of feedback through the internet, and I feel, I feel like getting a live reaction as well is just as important.
Because like like people could be clapping and stuff, but you need to look at their face. So you can clap to be nice, right?
Right. Yeah,
but
that's true.
The look on the audience's face is how you know if you've succeeded or not.
Yeah,
right.
Prime example is when they first talked about the Xbox One when it first came out, the whole TV sports, TV, Microsoft Sports, blah 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 blah. But actually, just backpedal really quick on State of Play, PlayStation's version of the Directs, which I'm assuming is what it is. It says, tune into our first episode Monday, March 25th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern for new PS4 and PSVR software updates and announcements. So I'll definitely tune in and watch that and, tweet our thoughts and opinions. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah. Cause even with Nintendo, the Switch is doing very, very well. I did have one for a brief short period of time, but
Yeah,
it's just not, it's not for me.
it's totally doing well, but like it could be doing better is my point. Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
agree. I mean,
yeah,
the lack of like applications services on there is, I mean, they just got YouTube like a few months ago, and I think there's YouTube and Hulu. I don't think Netflix is on the Switch right now, to be completely honest. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section down below, but I'm pretty sure that it's not. There's a lot of things that aren't on there. It's and I understand, you know, like it's a gaming console, like you know, its sole purpose is to play games. And like with any console,
it
that
is
is
true.
always going to be sole purpose, but you do need like something else to kind of, I mean, especially with the Switch being as portable as it is.
Just in this generation in general, if you don't have basically the same things that everything else is, including your phone, right?
Yeah.
Then that's bad.
And
Like
like people are
my
saying
phone.
like, oh, you know, like Sony's like copying like
Like,
Nintendo where like their state of play is like Nintendo Direct. It's like, hey man, it's like if something works, there's nothing wrong with copying that. Like
right.
that's why Nintendo started charging for online, because they saw how profitable it was with PlayStation and Xbox. Even though me personally, I think that, you know, these plus subscriptions in general,
Yeah, I
they
think
can
that
still
it's
exist. Just take
I,
the online portion out,
yeah.
and just because I don't think that that's
Yeah, I don't think that you should have to pay in order to play your multiplayer game that you bought
essentially
for
double dipping.
$60.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you spend $300 $400 on a console, and it has the capability to connect to the internet. But it's
yeah,
like, oh, for only for free to play games, it's fine, but not for everything else. It's kind of
yeah,
weird. But it's like
yeah.
I feel like that I'm hoping that wall breaks down within the next generation, because I think that's very ludicrous in general.
That's very crazy, especially because on PC you just buy a game, boom, you can play it multiplayer.
Yeah, and I know a
Yes,
lot of people
yeah,
are.
like, and PC does have plus subscriptions with certain like things, like you have Origin Access and
Well, yeah,
like
that's actually supposed to be rumored to
yeah,
come to the PlayStation finally. EA
yeah.
Origin Access as
So
well.
like it's like yeah, it's like you can have a plus subscription, but don't lock multiplayer behind that subscription.
Yeah, it is it is
Um,
very it's sad for it, but in general,
yeah,
it's like, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, because when the Master Chief Collection is coming out for PC on the Windows Store and on Steam, which is really really awesome. I'm
yeah.
like, heck yeah, man! Like it includes Halo Reach as well. They're adding more content. I'll gladly pay $60 for that. But it's a lot of people are saying, they're like, oh, like I saw a lot of different companies like GameSpot and Kotaku and stuff like that posting. They're like, oh, you know, you could play online for free on PC with the Master Chief Collection, whether it be through the Windows Store or through the Steam Store. And I'm like, well, yeah, you know, it's PC, of course. And I do agree that Xbox needs to be consistent between, you know, their console players and their PC players. I know a lot of people are giving them flack because they're supporting PC players, which is something that, you know, fans have been asking for forever. Because I
Yeah.
remember games for Windows Live for the PC, and it was essentially Xbox Live for your PC that did not fly at all. Like I remember
Yeah.
and it was terrible. So they just got rid of it. So it's like with PC, there's so much backlash if they even go through all of that. It's insane. But I do agree that Microsoft needs to be consistent with that. You know, if you're going to make it free on PC, it does need to be free on Xbox. But again,
I think in general these companies just need to stop like just locking like platforms, whether that's online or
you mean
like
like exclusives? Are you
well,
talking about exclusives, Jared?
no, I'm not talking about exclusives. I'm talking about locking games behind like platforms.
Because we can talk about exclusives.
no, so
That is
like oh
exclusives. What are you
so like
talking
oh you
about?
can no, I'm talking about multiplayer games, right? So like you can't. It's like oh, in order to play online, you need to buy this, right? Or just in order to
Oh,
play
I see what you're saying.
or in order to play
Locking features of
outer
games.
worlds, yeah,
Yeah.
or in order to play outer worlds you need to buy it on the Epic Store, right? It's like
Oh, I see what you're saying.
there has to be less needs in the gaming industry and
Well,
more
they
options.
kind of does apply to exclusives as well.
Yeah, yeah, it does apply to exclusives because in general, so there's okay, there's a concept in business, right, where like you don't try to sell your product only in your own store, right? If you can branch out and sell it in other stores, you're going to make more revenue in general and attract people to your store of choice, right? So
Right.
the example that I gave before, like before this podcast was so
It was Starbucks. Yeah.
it was Starbucks, and it was Starbucks in relation to them selling their like coffee, their like bad coffee or whatever, and that was supposed to show you how selling exclusives on consoles work, right? So I'm gonna do it,
Dunkin'
right?
Donuts is a perfect example as well. You know,
Yeah.
you have the main stores.
The thing is like, yeah, here I'm get into it right now. So you have the main store, right, or main console, right?
Hmm.
Let's say, and then you have, the main store sells um oh yeah, okay. The main store sells bagels and breakfast food, right?
Right.
Here, let's just say regular ass bagels, right? So regular ass bagels are those third party games that aren't like exclusive to that store, right? You can buy a regular ass bagel pretty much anywhere, right?
Right.
And eat it anywhere, right? So
Yeah.
that's what that is, right? But then you have their coffee specifically, right? So their coffee, right, is originally only offered at that place, right? So let's say
Generally, yeah.
let's say the coffee at first, when Starbucks was first a thing, you could only buy Starbucks coffee and like their bad coffee at Starbucks. Now, however, once they established a firm foothold of what their coffee products were, they were able to outbranch it to other locations, and you can buy bagged Starbucks coffee in other locations, then go home and make it yourself. And Starbucks has been making way more revenue from that than when you could only get Starbucks coffee in their own store. So this relates to consoles because if you stop only selling your like exclusive on your console and start making it available for other people and other places, right? Those other places will buy it, right? And maybe
Mhm.
they will profit a percentage of that, but at
But
the end of the
majority of
day,
it's gonna go
but
back
the
to.
majority of it goes back, right? So say, so it's let's say like Giant Eagle's like an Xbox, right? Okay, and
Pretty
let's
fitting.
say let's say that I don't even know if you can buy. I don't know where you can specifically buy Starbucks coffee. I know that you can buy it like at other places outside of Starbucks, but
Yeah, you can.
I think you can buy it
Kroger,
at.
stuff
I
like
think you
that.
can buy it at Giant Eagle. I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, you can, especially like the
Yeah.
pods for
Okay,
like the
okay, yeah,
Keurigs.
yeah. I'm just making sure this is all sound. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say you have the coffee, right? Your Starbucks coffee is equivalent to God of War in the PlayStation 4, right? This is like an
Right.
extreme example. I'm trying to turn heads here, but God of War, right? So God of War is Starbucks coffee, right? So yeah, you can buy God of War within Starbucks itself as much as you want, right?
Yeah.
But if you start selling God of War in Giant Eagle, right? Giant Eagle's going to profit a little bit, right? Which I know is which is the reason why people don't want to sell exclusives on other hardware because they believe that console will benefit. But you have to understand that you also will benefit if Giant Eagle sells your coffee. You are benefiting as you're also getting paid for that. You're getting paid
And way
more
more
because
and way more of it
you
too.
have multiple venues where people are
Yeah.
buying your thing, right? And if it's advertised as being part of Sony, like owned by Sony, or like let's say better on Sony, right?
Right.
Better, not exclusive. People are going to buy that console, but you're still going to make more money if it's offered on another one, right?
Exactly.
So that's the argument against exclusives, is that it's not a good solid business plan. You don't see that in
I
business.
literally keep saying this on Twitter that it's like it's an outdated business plan.
You, yeah,
Look at Xbox. They're putting Xbox Live,
right. It's
like
like
that Game
businesses,
Pass service on the Nintendo Switch.
right?
Now, if you want a
Businesses
hard
have
copy
to
of
allow
those games, you would buy an Xbox. You would buy the hard copy of those games. You have that option. You would do that. Now, if PlayStation Now, which now allows you to download games onto your PC or your PS4, if they put that on Xbox and Nintendo Switch, that's totally fine because you're letting other people play your games. Now,
And I
if you want the hard, huh?
guarantee you their revenue would be X, like just whatever fucking made up
Can you
number I can
imagine
think
playing
of
like
would
Last
just
of Us Part 2 on
increase.
an Xbox?
It would,
Or just
you know
like
what?
on your Switch if you really wanted
It would
to,
be
through
amazing. And you
those
know what?
games and services.
You know what? I wouldn't be thinking of Microsoft, but be thinking of how fucking amazing Sony is as a developer. Like they would still be getting fucking money.
Yeah.
There's no
And the
no
people who
loss.
want to buy a PlayStation, there will be, you know, there will be really big
Yeah,
incentives. You can buy the hard copies. You can
right. It's not like as soon as you make it not exclusive, you're not going to sell your PlayStation, because that's just simply not true.
yeah.
That is simply not true.
There's more that comes to
Look
it.
at look at Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider 1 was initially an exclusive, and they're like, hey, maybe we should sell this on PlayStation. Then they did. Guess what happened? They made more money than they would have than they had projected,
Yeah.
because they made it available across the board.
Grand
right?
Theft Auto
So,
coming to 360, that was
right.
huge. Kingdom Hearts coming to Xbox One.
Right.
Crash
And you also,
Bandicoot coming. Well, Crash has for a while has been third party, but
even in general, you just look at like international companies like fucking McDonald's, dude. McDonald's wouldn't be making this much money if they were just in America. No, they outreached, and look, now they're making more cash. Like people's arguments for exclusives like not generating money, like if they were to deviate from the exclusivity, is just simply false. That is not how being a consumer works. It's not how money works. That's not how any sort of industry works. That's not how buying things works. That's not how revenue works.
Yeah, it's even with like
So
buying a car. I bought my Honda Civic, my 2008 Honda Civic at a Toyota dealership.
right. That's
Like
just,
like granted, yeah, it was a used car, but I mean, Honda's going to get majority of that profit. Like I could have went to like a Honda dealership, but I went to a different dealership and bought a Honda car. It's the same thing.
right.
I don't
Exactly.
understand. But people get so threatened when it comes to like, oh my God, like more people's like, oh my God, like my exclusives aren't going to be tied down to my console's failing, blah, 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 blah. It's like, again, these companies don't care about you. They are here to make money. Like, yes, obviously they care to like a certain extent, but like people think that like, oh, you know, it's like, so Shuhei Yoshida is not going to come knocking on my doorstep and inviting me out to lunch or just give me a firm handshake saying, hey, you know, like, thank you so much. Or just like an email or something like that. Like, thank you so much for buying our, you know, like, our console, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z.
It's not like I go on. It's not like I have sleepovers with Phil Spencer, right? And then like,
it's not like me and Phil are getting lunch every other Wednesday,
right? Right. And then I go and like buy a PlayStation. Then he's not my friend anymore and unfriends me. Like, no, that's not how that. They're not your friends, okay?
They are not.
You're not supposed to be this personally.
They just want your money.
It has nothing to do with personal investment. And okay, when I say personal investment, I'm not talking about about the individual's money. I'm talking about your emotional investment. You should not be emotionally invested in any company.
Yeah, you should not. Not at all. Pro consumer all the way. Do what's best. It's like. It's oh my gosh, I almost lost my train of thought. It's like with these companies, it's like they have to care to a certain extent because, you know, obviously if no one's buying their product, then they can't exist, they can't function. Right. So like they have to care to a certain extent to make sure that people are buying their products. That's totally fine.
It's also like it's not your job as a consumer to defend the company.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because they're not going to tweet you or retweet you on Twitter and be like, oh, thank you for so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Even Sean Layden himself. Oh, my gosh, dude. Sean Layden himself was in an interview recently pretty much saying that he wants more people to play PlayStation exclusives. He said in the interview, he's like, I know a lot of people would not agree with me with this. And I'll probably, I'll link a source for that interview down below, but like pretty much he was saying, you know, he's looking post console generation. That's literally what he said. Like, as in and I couldn't agree more. And this is coming from Sean Layden, the guy who looks super pissed off at when he was at the Game Awards last year. Like, yeah, he was on stage with Reggie. You know, hopefully he's enjoying his retirement. And then you had Phil Daddy,
always
Phil
looks
Daddy
happy.
Spencer. So,
with them dimples.
Phil and Reggie looked so excited to be up there. And then Sean Layden was just like, I mean, it might just be, you know, the way that he is, but the way he looked, he was just like, why am I here?
He looked like he was pissed, like he had just got done yelling at both of them.
He was like, oh, whatever, we're still leading, blah, 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 blah. Probably not, but like, yeah, it was probably just the way, it was probably a tiring day for him, honestly. Yeah. Especially like, hey, you know, like, we need you to come here like smack dab in the middle of your evening. We need you to fly out to LA. And yeah, if you don't already live out there, yeah, we need you to come by and stand on stage for like 5 minutes
right.
and say that we're a united front. Like it was a very PR statement, very, very PR, very, very PR, but I agreed with it. It was like this, just bring it over as like games as a service. It's not hard. Like I said, people feel so threatened. They're like, well, how do you expect consoles to, you know, sell if, you know, if there aren't any exclusives? I'm like, well, if you look at Microsoft this generation, there was a lot, you know, with the launch. And
that's like saying,
but Phil Spencer has adapted.
Dude, it's like saying, oh, how do you expect Dunkin' Donuts to stay in business while Starbucks? It's like they do. They do. They're both selling bagels, but they both are also selling their coffee in other locations. Are they out of business? No, because people are still going to be attracted for one or the other regardless of what's offered.
Yeah, I get that people like to associate like, you know, like games with like hardware, but it's like people don't understand like hardware in general. Hardware is always going to be outdated, no matter what you do. But games in general, those are going to live on forever. The software is what lives on forever.
Right.
And it's like people. I feel like a lot of people
like
out there
we can even look at like Sega. Sega used to be its own console. Now they're just like
I feel like they're better off this way.
Yeah, they're.
Honestly, if Nintendo went the same route, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think they can thrive a lot. But the only thing with Nintendo is that they normally build their games for that generation around the console that they build for that specific generation.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the only problem. But
I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see a period where there might be a rise and fall of different, like of the top three, and there might be a new player on the field.
Oh, for sure.
But
I don't know who's going to be.
Because the last time there was a new player on the field, it was Xbox, right? And that was like late 90s or early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
Early 2000s. And ever
like
since
2000,
then,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and now there's top three. So now one's probably gonna go. There might be another one join, or I don't know. Like people can't expect things to be the same forever. It's going to change because it has changed in the past.
And that actually goes into our next little topic I wanted to talk about is with Google Stadia, they did a nice little keynote this past week, and it's very interesting. I mean, it's pretty much games as a service. They took the little jabs at Microsoft and Xbox and Nintendo, saying that gaming is more than just the box, which I totally agree. Because yes, I do own a PlayStation 4, but I wouldn't own a PlayStation 4 if it wasn't for those games. I would still be mainly gaming on my PC, which
I own a PlayStation 4 as well. I own a PC and I own an Xbox One X, right? So basically my Xbox One X is a little bit more powerful than
your PC
in certain areas, right? And like if I'm going to play an open world game, I'm going to be playing my Xbox, right? If I'm going to be playing something else, I'll play the PC, right? If I care about the graphics, probably be playing my Xbox. If I care about like being like fast frame rate, PC, right? But my PS4, the only reason I have that is for the exclusives.
Literally,
right?
it. Like if it wasn't for those games only being on Xbox, I would never bought the thing.
Yeah, which is bad. Which I feel like is the reason why a lot of people will try to defend the exclusivities, because the console cannot exist without those. Which in its current form is absolutely true, but you shouldn't defend that, right? That is a problem.
Because it's the only. It's the only
that
solution. It's the only
especially
tactic that gaming's ever tried.
yeah, like, do we even have to do I have to mention that Red Dead Redemption 2 was showcased on the PlayStation 4 Pro as functioning better
Marketed on
than
the
that,
PlayStation 4 Pro
marketed on the PlayStation
heavily.
4 Pro heavily, and then when it releases,
It runs
it
better
runs
on
better.
its
It runs smoother. The graphical integrity is better on the Xbox One X, even though it's marketed on the PlayStation.
right.
That is a very, very bad problem,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. And sometimes it is the other. Sometimes, it's not always going to be, Xbox One. It's going to, always dominate, because there have been times where I know with Anthem, I think the frame rate is a little bit better on the PS4 version versus Xbox One X version. I really know how that
Yeah.
how that all goes. Sometimes, I mean, with the tech specs and everything, I watch a lot of like Digital Foundry videos, but I mean the PS4, like honestly I should have just bought like a just basic slim PS4, because like the PS4 Pro, definitely not even
There
worth.
are also, what's also really bad? There are frame rate hiccups in the PS4 Pro that are not existent on the PS4 Slim.
Yeah.
Why?
And yeah,
Why?
that's
That
what I was trying to
shouldn't.
tell Matt. Like when I was
It's very
buying mine, I
strange.
was like, well, like I know it may sound crazy, but games just like
It is.
they
It
they
is
run
crazy,
better on
but
a.
that's what it is. Now, I will say the PS4 Pro does have better graphics, like slightly, but
Yeah, but
like
like honestly, if
a
you're not
smooth like
if
my
these,
PS4, like
like
my PS4 is not gonna it's not. I'm not gonna be able to cook pancakes on my PS4 Slim,
not
right?
make it into a grill like Mystic Moon Mystic
Right.
did.
Like I've seen videos of people. I don't even. I think it's from them playing Red Dead. I've seen videos of people playing Red Dead Redemption, and then they can literally pour water on their PlayStation, and it does steam.
Not gonna lie though, like I was playing Spyro the other day, right? And I was just, I
Yeah,
bought
like
it digitally.
PS4 Pro has a heating problem. No idea why.
I have like the most current model of the PS4 Pro, and
Yeah,
it
and
sounded like
it
there
was
was a
it was overheating,
lawnmower
dude.
something
Yeah,
going on. And like, but this is supposed to be like the new model that like that's supposed to fix that. But like it happened when I played Spider-Man, it happened when I played Kingdom Hearts, and it also happened when I
yeah.
played
Like I don't
Spyro. It was
I
like
don't know what they're like. Spyro and Kingdom Hearts aren't
I
that
was like, is
intensive
someone
on
playing?
your
Is there?
hardware.
I'm like, who's vacuuming in the house? I'm like, oh, it's my PlayStation.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. Also, it's like when I okay, so I will say the PS4 Slim does have a problem with Horizon Zero Dawn. uh, um, when I would just play that over I think it was like last summer in my room, right? We had the air conditioning going off.
Yeah.
My room would heat up to like 80 degrees, and I had my AC at like 72. My room would be 80. I had the windows open. It was still 80 because it was just had heat problems. Like PlayStation's, their fan system is weird. It's like it's not blowing out all of the air correctly, or there's not even any sort of cooling system. They're just blowing the air out, not trying to cool it. Right? It's very weird. I don't know what specifically. I would have to look that up because I don't want anybody to like quote me on that, and start attacking me. But
God
yeah,
damn it, Jared!
yeah,
Why
like
did you say that? This is terrible.
I mean, that's what I've perceived. Like I've never had a thing with my Xbox One X where it overheats, right?
Right.
That just doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like and yes, hardware is supposed to heat up, but not that hot, dude. Like if the internal temperature of your shit is literally able to steam something, no. That should no. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have that.
Yeah, it's
But like these all of I man, everybody just needs to look to CD Project Red. Okay, I'm like a poster boy for them. All right, I gotta always plug them in here because
it's very true.
they're freaking dude. They're gonna save the gaming industry. That's not like with in
Remember,
light
like
of this.
Nintendo saved the industry like way
Yeah,
back when the NES came to America, because the
yeah,
entire market was oversaturated with these basic ass games. Yeah. No.
right. And so like now it's like, dude, in light of this whole Epic Game Store and this like all Anthem debacle and you can Fallout 76, you know what Marcin Momo of I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Okay, his Polish name. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher his name, but I do have to pronounce it. Like what he tweeted like recently in regards to this whole Epic shit with
What?
them not knowing. He was like, our goal is to make Cyberpunk 2077 available to as many gamers as possible on their platform of choice. Like, how much shade needs to be thrown by this company before people realize that everybody's fucking up?
I don't know, dude. Because honestly, like the gaming industry in general, like we
Like,
should be evolving. I'm
everybody
not
is
saying that
fucking up.
like a lot of people don't like streaming games, and I'm not
Right, but in
really about
general,
that at all. But
it's gotten worse. It's like, especially with microtransactions, they've been getting worse.
yeah, it's definitely been getting a lot worse because companies they're greedy. They're greedy, and some companies may not show it over others.
It's that they're greedy and people just letting them do it. Like consumers just like, oh hey, I'm still gonna buy this game, but I'm not gonna buy microtransactions. No, you shouldn't
And
buy.
people are still buying microtransactions.
Yeah, people are still buying the microtransactions. It's like they're like, oh, it's
No
just
one's fighting
cosmetic.
with their wallet.
Yeah, it's they're like, oh, it's just cosmetic. It doesn't matter if it's cosmetic or not. It should not be there. It like I don't care what type of fucking shit. It should not be there, especially in a single player game, dude. Hell no. Why the
Hard
fuck do you
facts.
have microtransactions in a single player game? What the hell is going
That
on?
is very true. I mean, honestly, even like Sony Santa Monica Studios with God of War, they're like, yeah, it's all there. They're like, what do you mean? I'm
Yeah,
like everything we wanted to put in the game, it's in the game. There's no tricks.
they're
There's
like, yeah,
nothing.
we're done. We've moved on to the next project. Like, good luck. Like that's but yeah, it's really fucking straight. Like, look, even me, like, okay, I really like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has fucking microtransactions for like cosmetic shit and certain types of gear in a single player game, right? It should not have that at all. You should not have any sort of microtransactions in a single player game, dude. No, you should have in-game currency, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to purchase. Okay, the only thing that it's like, yeah, you shouldn't even be able to purchase in-game currency with actual physical real-world money. No, dude. Okay, there is an excuse to have like, oh, time savers. It's like, yeah, if somebody wants to spend their own money on a game and then not play it and then pay money so they can get like activities completed for them on a game that they had planned to play, like, okay, fine, keep that in there, right? Because those are the idiots, right? They deserve to get scammed. But
Yeah.
don't don't put fucking microtransactions in a single player game. What the hell is going on? Especially,
I
oh
don't
my
know,
god,
dude. It's
do we
the
even
dumbest thing
gotta
ever.
talk about Bethesda with the Creation Club? Like,
And just
dude,
follow 76 in general, man.
no, Bethesda the Creation Club started with Skyrim Special Edition, then went to Fallout 4, and it's like, no, it's like, okay, well, that's actually kind of different because Bethesda is profiting, but also the people who make those mods are profiting as well. So I get that, right? But it's like a Creation Club is a fine line between what you mean by microtransaction and what you don't, right? Because you, in a way, you're paying other people who have made things for you through
Right.
Bethesda, right? So that's a weird thing. I'd say I'd let that one slide a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but like these other, no, dude.
It's too much, and like I said earlier, that's pretty much the reason why I haven't bought the Division 2. The reason I was gonna buy Anthem and decided not to.
You know,
Very
like
smart move on my choice.
like
It's just,
also it's like I don't like these games where they release characters and you have to pay for them, right? So
mm, yeah.
like that's really
Overwatch
bad.
does a good job with everything.
Overwatch does a good job because it's like, dude, I only paid $40 with Overwatch once.
Yeah, and you
And
get to
they
play
are
every single hero.
constantly releasing heroes, dude.
The only
And
thing
you
I
gotta
don't
pay
like
shit.
is like the cosmetic thing, and I know a lot of people
Yeah,
don't care for that.
you should not like have to pay an actual some. It shouldn't be that hard to get cosmetic upgrades for a character, right?
Yeah, and clearly they're
yeah,
making a crap
they
ton of money
yeah,
off
they
of
should
it.
be. Yeah, they should be like have some weird conditions for you to unlock them, but not unreasonable like that.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's
essentially
really bad.
gambling anyway. So
Oh, it is essentially gambling. There was this thing in the past. I think it was Denmark or Blizzard. No. Denmark was suing EA for microtransactions because
yeah,
they were gambling, and they won. They won a suit against EA.
yeah. Even
EA
Blizzard
had to get rid of the microtransactions in it. So it's like,
yeah, in that country. But even
yeah,
with Blizzard, they stated that they're like, oh, they said that you know, the microtransaction thing doesn't apply to them because it's not pay to win. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything though. Like I'm giving you, God, I don't know how much the loot box costs now. I haven't picked up Overwatch in forever. But like
Yeah, like you
if
can get
I'm
a loot
buying
box
like 2 or
and not
3
get
loot
anything.
boxes,
If I'm spending like $20 on a loot box and all I
yeah.
get is like some weird ass spray paints, like
Oh, dude,
that's
it's the most annoying thing ever. I mean,
that's
Seth can tell
not
you
be a
all
thing.
about it, but yeah, it's like okay, it's like I'm buying a product. It's like it could be anything from like one item from through like 3,000 items. You get like what I can't remember how many you get through, in each item, but like you know
Like what
what
you
you
get, like
could get
you get 4 items. You get four in
4
each box.
items, and like
That's
it could
not
be
like
anything, and like you don't know
yeah.
what you're gonna get, so you're taking a gamble by giving
You're
them your
that is
money.
literally the definition of gambling.
And obviously,
Inserting an amount of money for a perceived
especially on
outcome that you
consoles,
do
these
not
little kids like
that you do
getting their
not know
parents'
what it could be.
information and plugging in their
Yeah,
credit
dude.
card information and
It's
whatnot,
really
and their parents
bad.
not knowing
Or
about it. People
yeah,
don't
look,
understand.
or then you even have like older people on like mobile platforms that are like paying actual physical money. Like I was watching some videos of this one guy, of this like old dude who was playing some, I don't know, some weird ass game on mobile, and his wife like was like, yo, I'm not letting you pay for that shit anymore. And the kids were making fun of him because he wanted some like weird like microtransactions. So it's also taking advantage of people that don't understand what that actually is doing. Like they don't understand that that's a bad thing, right? Because to
Yeah,
them that's how it is, right? They're viewing it um
yeah, it's just another way for
as a
companies to make more money, and that circles back
it's
around
I mean,
to
yeah.
them being a business.
Yeah, there's no problem with the company making money, but there is a problem in how you make that money, okay?
Yeah, like exploiting, like, and people don't understand that, like, even Alana Pierce, she used to work at IGN. She made a video not too long ago saying that, like, you know, it's great as like, you know, it's some developers like CD Projekt Red, you know, and Gearbox care, and like Obsidian cares about, like, to an extent, you know, their fans.
Oh no, Obsidian did. The devs completely
Yeah,
cared.
but it's
CEOs
like
aren't
people don't understand that, like,
CEOs are not communicating with the devs,
and
dude. It's
yeah, I mean, like these companies, like
bad.
they definitely exploit gamers as well. Like they're not
Yeah.
always
And
they don't
and
always have your best interests in mind.
yeah, and we also got to clarify
It's
everyone,
like
right?
50-50.
Whenever we're saying companies, we
Well, like
do not mean
60-40.
the studios and we do not mean the developers. We always are meaning the publishers.
Yeah,
Whenever we say the word company, we do not mean the devs. We always mean publishers. All right, just to clarify that, because a lot of people are getting upset at like Obsidian Entertainment, right? You
yeah,
shouldn't be
it
getting
wasn't even their
upset
fault
Obsidian.
because
You
they
gotta
didn't
be,
know,
yeah, they didn't know. You gotta get upset at the higher ups, the people, the
because
tippy
that's
top of
where
the
it all
chain,
starts.
because the people at the tippy top of the chain are the ones signing off on all this shit.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah,
yeah. Whew. That was That was good, man. No,
yeah,
but well, I think let's wrap it up here because we're a
yeah.
little bit over an hour. But thank
Yeah.
you, Jared, always for coming on. You know, we'll definitely
Uh,
start getting back into more of the swing of things here once
yeah, it's a
Devin
pleasure.
gets back, and you know, we'll do a little bit more gaming content or more discussions like this. I don't want to do
Yeah.
reviews. That's just too much. Way too
Nah,
much.
reviews are
We're
very, and
we're busy
we
folk.
gotta record video on freaking YouTube's copyright problems. Like, no,
Oh,
they.
our lead a battle angel video got blocked worldwide.
Yeah, just because we had one still image, which is
I
last
had
time I
to
checked,
change it to a still
which
image
which
because
yeah,
I was playing
yeah,
the trailer.
last time I checked under fair use, everything that we do is legal. But the problem is we shouldn't have to state fair use on
Yeah,
YouTube.
well, I mean,
You know?
we don't even make money off this stuff, so who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. We don't make money. It's like, why are you
We're
like,
an
yo,
extremely small
this
channel.
is like, my guy, this is free fucking PR for you. Calm down.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo finally got rid of their creators program, so that's really good. But yeah, thank you as always for coming on, and thank you for everyone listening out there. Don't forget to follow us at Broke Boy Media. There's underscore between Broken Boy and Boy BOI and media.
Yeah, so broke underscore boy underscore media.
Yeah, I'll put
Everyone.
in the description down below.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think about everything that we pretty much talked today. I know we got a little heated there, but that's why we have these
No.
conversations, you know?
That was, man. We are passionate about this. All right, we don't want the game.
More
We don't want
passionate
the
than I
game.
thought, actually.
We don't
Yeah.
want the gaming industry to go down the toilet. Okay, we don't want our Starbucks coffee to go straight in the toilet. Okay,
Or Duncan, whatever you prefer.
or Dunkin', whatever you prefer. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
As long as you're partaking in it, you're good.
Right.
All right.
All right, but yeah, let us know your thoughts and comments down below, and if you do like our content here, share it with a friend, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you like our content, because we're kind of just here to mess around and have some fun and talk about movies, TVs, and video games and comics, maybe.
Yeah. Everything. If you have a recommendation, if you have a recommendation for a future video, please leave us a like, comment, subscribe, possibly, but normally just a comment. And we will see you next time.